This week in mini apps. We like to get together once a week and talk about interesting mini apps, what's going on in the Farcaster mini app developer ecosystem. So here this week, as usual, with Linda.
Hello.
And this week we have Giuliano from Pinetree.
Hello, nice to see you all, and thank you for inviting me. It's great to show a little bit of what we've been building and like the future of what Pinetree is gonna, you know, showcase what we have in mind. So I'm excited to show you all what we've been building.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
awesome.
for coming on. I'm a huge Pinetree user myself. I upload like all my live streaming videos onto Pinetree, and we do a lot of this week in mini apps live streams uploaded. So Pinetree is such a great tool, and excited for people to see it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for using it, and yeah, excited to showcase.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we're gonna get straight to the demos today. So if you want to share Pinetree, give us the quick intro, and yeah, introduce yourself in the app and what it does and why it's so exciting.
All right, so let me give a little bit. So here's Pinetree. It's obviously, can you guys see it?
Yep.
So it's a mini app. Uh, People, basically the vision behind, let me lay out the vision about Pinetree, and then like I'll go back into the details of like what we have right now. So basically Pinetree is the on-chain video platform. So if you think about videos, they bring most of the attention or a lot of the attention in the world right now. So like if you think about YouTube is like is, I think, the second biggest website in terms of traffic in the world. But there isn't like much, competition in the world. So there's YouTube, there's Twitch, there's Rumble. Rumble is it's newer. There's Kick, which is also pretty new. Um, and a lot of our attention goes to videos. And if you think about monetization, I think similar to AI, I was into AI for a long time. Similar to AI, attention is all you need. There's like the Transformers paper, which is like the T of GPT. I think attention is all you need. And I think Farcaster is doing a great job at that. Like you spend attention there and then you spend the dollars as well there. So video is like this huge market. YouTube is the biggest, dinosaur, the biggest platform. But you have Twitch, you have Kick, you have Rumble, you have so many platforms. X as well. I mean, we're talking through video, right? Like live streaming, and I think it's like the best way of communicating over the internet. Is like the second best. In real life is the best one. So we're basically building tools for creators. That bring crypto, to the center. And again, I think so. The vision is basically bring monetization, distribution, and content ownership back to creators. And what I think crypto does really well is bring markets to the world. So that's I mean, if anyone of you all that are listening follow me on Farcaster, you can probably see that I post a lot of charts. I talk a lot about the economy and markets and things like that. And by the way, if I'm like rumbling too much, please stop me.
No.
So crypto is a lot about markets, and I think it's like the biggest disruption, technology disruption overall. Like people talk a lot about AI. I actually, have a AI background, study with Minsky, the guy that created the field, wrote a book about it, wrote probably the most popular post about transformers before it became popular, before like GPT-3 came out. It was like GPT-2. I actually taught one of the co-founders of Anthropic how transformers worked. He was at SPC and then eventually started Anthropic. But I still think like crypto and is such a big force because I think markets are like the biggest force in nature. So we can see, for example, one big example of the Web2 era is like Uber. Why Uber succeeded or Airbnb succeeded is that they bring markets to like real estate and like ride sharing. And even when governments eventually have to succumb to markets because people really like it's such a strong force that you can't go against it. And I think crypto brings markets to everything. So the first big idea is like Bitcoin, which is like money, right? And then you have like Ethereum and things like that. And I think there are two visions of the world. And then uh, I'm rambling a little bit, and then I will talk how Pinetree goes into it. Is that good? Or
Oh yeah, I mean, you're
yeah.
zooming us out and explaining to us why this all matters. So I think it's important sometimes to like frame it. So yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So what I think has been happening in the past 50 years, that we have the fiat world where like we have dollars and the government can just print money and issue debt for free, borrow money basically for free, because it borrows money from itself. It prints money. And it's a really weird scheme. And then the consequences of that, I mean, you probably all know because you're like very into crypto, is that inequality has increased a lot. So like real estate assets go up a lot, financial stocks go up a lot, and then like you see Mark Zuckerberg or whatever owning a lot of, like having a lot of money, but he's just a consequence of the system. The system's a little bit broken, and like Bitcoin fixes it by having hard money. But I think crypto goes in the opposite way, and I think both solutions work. Crypto brings assets to everything, so everything becomes an asset. Everything becomes financialized. So if you think that 10, 20 years down the road, like right now you have like 4,000 companies or 8,000 companies in the NASDAQ, like public companies in the US. Like, why is that? It's because like there's no real market. Like you spend millions and millions of dollars, maybe like the average $40 million to go public. That's not really feasible. Like imagine if you had to spend $40 million to publish a website, right? That was like really, really expensive. Crypto makes so that you can bring assets to everything, and brings markets to everything. So the crypto version of the solution is like, let's make everything an asset so everyone becomes richer. Bitcoin is like there's only one money, and there's hard money, and that's the solution. I think both solutions are going to end up being right. I think the world 10 years down the road is going to look like that. Like you have Bitcoin, and then everything is also an asset. And like we see, for example, prediction markets and things like that, they are markets, right? Like crypto, where it does well, like Uniswap is a market of like tokens and things like that. Prediction markets, poly market, now Kosh is going more like crypto is a market. And if you think about it, we're like bringing attention, and we're going to bring markets to it. But in order to make it work, we first need to seed it and create the base of this product, which is like a video platform. So that's what we built here. So like this is like the base of the building, let's say. And for example, uploading like long form videos, displaying them nicely. It's very technically, it's not easy to do, I think. To do it well, like you can do it poorly, but doing it well is really hard. So I mean, that's what we built so far. So this is like a simple mini app. You can sign in with your account. This is like a Farcaster account, and Farcaster is a great launch pad for like developers in the crypto ecosystem to get the ball rolling, the initial network effects. So here are videos that I uploaded. This is like announcing Pinetree. We have like views, we have subscribers for you can see your own subscribers. So here are like my subscribers. This is all information that comes from Farcaster. But we also have video. So like this is one creator that's like publishes really great content, and these are DJ sets. So you have DJ sets, you have likes, you can share the app, you can report video, you have like standard comments and things like that. Also, one interesting cool aspect of it is that you can, for example, tag, like in the description, you can add the chapters and things like that. So this is like the standard way of the standard the base of the building, where you can upload videos and watch. So another thing. For example, you can, I'm gonna show you the flow for adding videos. Uh, this is a beautiful video of like Rick Astley. Uh,
This is always my demo video too. That was a good one.
and you can like change, for example, if you want public, private, unlisted. So very, very simple. So here it's gonna publish the video, uh, and then you can go and watch the video and things like that. So it's and when you publish, we actually pull that information into Farcaster. So like, let's say I share the video, I can share the video here. Let me get another video. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's one of my favorite parts about Pinetree is how nice it looks in the feed because I can pick among 3 thumbnails and then that'll be like the image that shows up, and it's a great way of like showcasing.
Yeah, we definitely focus on the thumbnail, and we have some improvements down the pipe. We work with a great designer. It's a very small team, but I think we have like very talented folks. So, for example, I can publish this video. This is gonna be in the feed, and then whenever someone accesses it, they will log in. Whenever they want to comment, it's gonna ask them to log in, and it's gonna log in directly through the mini app. So that's basically what we have right now. We have down the pipe again, like we built the base layer of the building, and we're going to add a lot of interesting, let's say, interaction. So we're going to improve a lot the product. So that's a little bit more about the background. One of the interesting parts that I want to basically say is how Farcaster is like a really good ecosystem, and I think there's like a really interesting. So stop sharing. So what I think Farcaster does really well, and what I think has a lot of value for creators, meaning developers, is that there's a huge user base compared to like any other social network or any other launchpad. A big a big user base compared to whatever you have that has money in their wallets and have wallets, so you can interact with. And that's like a big part of what makes it special. We obviously don't have an interaction yet because basically building the base of the building takes a lot of time, right? Like making this work nicely takes a lot of time. But if you think about a year down the road, it's obviously something that we're gonna have in terms of the interaction. And I think that's the most important area. So like if you look at, as Lina mentioned, there are like other really interesting mini apps that leverage that. So I think one of the biggest examples is amps, right? And amps basically allows, if you Horsefax, if you want to showcase, or I can describe a little bit more. Basically, you can grant access to recast or posting or liking certain posts. So like if I want to promote a certain post, a certain video, I can ask in the Farcaster app, um, I can ask AMP to amplify my my post. And that's just one example of a market, a crypto market. You're selling something which is like your likes, your recast, and amps is just creating that market. And where that's basically where Farcaster is shining, right? Like you have these wallets that have a lot of funds in it, and they can interact with these apps, and that's like very differentiated from anything else, right? You have these third party apps, the mini apps, and they interact really nicely with it. And we definitely we're going to use that. And even if you look across like different apps, the fact that they're like this user base with wallets is really, really big. So there you can see we have a normal feed, and then we have recommended accounts, and you can see like different videos there. But yeah, that's a little bit of overview and what we're building and why I think this is super interesting.
Yeah, I really love Pinetree as a sort of long form addition to the Farcaster feed, right? Like you think about Farcaster, it's a short text social network. Everything's kind of bite sized. We have short form vertical video now too. We have embeds in the feed, but a lot of that is kind of bite sized, lots of small bits of information. And I see Pinetree as a really nice way to have kind of that extended, longer form content in the feed. And similarly, stuff like Paragraph, other mini apps are a way to kind of insert that content in a way that's interactive, in a way that kind of lets you give that focused attention to something that's maybe demands more, more interest and attention in a sustained, focused way. And Pinetree is really good at that. Among other things, right? Like I love listening to music and DJ sets and things on Pinetree too, right? It's great to pop on music and put it in the background to play while I'm working on something else. There are lots of use cases for that. But I see that as one big advantage of a mini app or a tool like this to kind of pull your focus towards something that's a little bit more long format.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think the idea behind it is like I was at Facebook for like a little stint like 13 years ago, and one of the messages Chris Cox, which I think he's like CPO or something like that. Right now, he would deliver the first day messaging, which is medium is the message, and that basically aligns to what you're saying, right? Like if you go to Twitter, you can still see, they have some long form videos and things like that, but your primary goal to go to Twitter is to see maybe short form text and short form video. And the medium is created, like the product's created around it. And you can't really separate that. And they try, for example, like create long form text. But if you look at even Nikita Beer, he commented that long form text doesn't do really well inside Twitter. So they're probably changing the way link formats work, and that's basically the idea, right? You have products that are focused more in a certain medium, right? And I think Farcaster really shines in that short form content, like short form text and short form video. Um, I, I'm like really passionate about like long form and long form video, um, and I think it creates a lot of value. Um, Also, short form text and video also adds a lot of value. But I'm very passionate about it, and like I think the idea of crypto and bringing markets to these products is really not well understood by most people, even most founders. And I think there's a huge opportunity here to bring markets to these products, right? And I think Farcaster is one of the ones that is like far ahead of everyone else because it has this concept of wallets, and the product works well there, and we're seeing these sparks of like where the markets are shining, right? Like amps is one example of a mini app, but there are tokens inside it. There's like economy around it, and there's like markets forming. And that's why I think at the end of it, why these crypto products are going to be so valuable, because this is just the beginning of a new era where markets are coming to the digital world, and where assets, like instead of having 4,000 companies that can go public, you can imagine like a few years down the road, why is Mr. Beast not public, right? Why is, like, you have these creators that are generating cash flow, they have a lot of attention, but going public is like a really big hassle. But you also have creators everywhere, that actually create a lot of value. But it's not only creators, right? Like you can think about these markets, this economy growing for every part of the world. And I think digitally we're just seeing the beginnings of it. So anyway, that's the interesting part that I think about it. Here, for example, you can see that there are like we allow users to upload vertical videos and also horizontal videos. But if you look at the numbers, the best videos are like right now are the ones that are long form videos. And DJ sets do really well. It's interesting to watch because there's some recurring users, so they go back to older videos for DJ sets. um but yeah, anyway, this is a little bit more. So like you can see there's like the title, description, the creator comments, um likes, who liked, sharing the app, and if you click view the app, it goes to a full desktop app. So we have like the desktop version of the app um, that works well in mobile, but also works well in the desktop and on web. And that's that's also something that it's a bunch of work to make it work across ecosystems. But yeah, I think again, for Farcaster is a great ecosystem to launch this app. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we agree. I'm just curious. So, what are the planned crypto components? I know that's going to be further out, but like, do you have any ideas on like how you would structure that, or?
Yeah, we have some plans. We're I'm not gonna share it right now
Okay.
because
Yeah.
it's still in the works. Um, but yeah, again, if you think about it, we're really thinking about how we can bring these markets to the ecosystem and leverage that. Um, and in the meantime, like the next big release is gonna make it easier for people that in the Farcaster ecosystem to share videos. Let's say this video that we have right now and things like that, and for people to interact. But the next big one is moving towards the crypto and bringing markets to Pinetree. But because we have the social graph, because there are wallets in Farcaster, it's much easier to bring these markets to to Pinetree. But I think that's going to happen in every single crypto app. But yeah,
Cool.
sorry that I yeah.
No, no, no. And then I just had
That's good.
another question, and no need to get like deep in the weeds on this, but I was more curious because I have noticed like when I upload a video to Pinetree, it's pretty quick in terms of the upload process. And I'll like upload on YouTube, and I'll also upload on Twitter, and so it's like, I guess like you said, it's a lot of technical work. So like, what are the like what have just been like the hardest challenges with building something like this, like very high? I don't need like super in the weeds like detail on it, but yeah.
Yeah, so the first time that we launched the app, someone tried to upload a video and like they weren't able, and we had to re-architect the whole backend um, to actually upload the video. So it was going through our backend instead of like uploading directly the video. That's like one example. But I'll give you another example that we're going to optimize in the long run. So right now we're serving the videos the way they are. If you upload to YouTube, you're gonna see it's processing, and the reason it's processing is because it's creating another format that's called adaptive. Like it's adaptive. So like depending on your network speed, you can like you're gonna watch a different quality than someone that has a better network quality than some other people. So like that's another nuance of like long form video. The other part is like if you want to upload to like long form video, you need to chunk it out and upload it. So like the code for that's not super standard. There are tools that help with that, um, but they're also pricing. So you need to think about price, and also because we want to create something sustainable, we need to think a lot about pricing. Um, and like the next big feature is like a big feature that a lot of people use in terms of video, but to make something of like really good quality takes a lot of work. First finding a great provider. Second, figuring out there are like different protocols that you're going to use. So like for example, for video, I mentioned like you're using like maybe you're publishing MP4 or MOV. You need to process that. So like you need to transform maybe to HLS, or like their Google formats or things like that. So like that part is not very simple, right? If you have an image is like it's very low bandwidth. um, so another example of like why this product, like interesting parts of the product, Um, Another interesting part is what I was going to say. So, like for example, on YouTube, if you watch a video, you go back. You don't want to go back to the beginning, right? So there are like very small nuance things that make the product shine. We obviously need to improve a lot of it. Um, Another interesting part is that we allow users to log in through email and attach their Farcaster account to their email, and creating a really nice experience across the, everywhere. It's not super simple. There are tools to help that, but we really like to, make the best experience, and sometimes you need to take, like we take into our own hands a lot of it, and that makes the experience a little bit better. But these are just nuances, right? Like these are little things. If you're adding an image, that's much easier because like it's not a big, file. Don't necessarily need to process. You don't need to save where people are watching. So it's very, very different. Another example is like the if you click on it, like on a video, even the player, even the player that you choose makes a difference, right? And the interaction right now, it's like a mobile interaction. You see the play button
Mhm.
is big, it works well. um, some people, for example, didn't like providing that experience across web and mobile that works well. Is really important because people really, really care about that.
Mm.
um, so that's a few different things. Another interesting part is that we focus a lot on web in the beginning because we think creators like you or I use a lot of, I I have a podcast where like I interview a lot of people. Now I'm like very focused on Pinetree, but for 2 3 years I spent a lot of time in it. And as a creator, you use a lot the web because you're basically processing the videos on the web,
Yep.
and that's different from the viewer side. The viewer, uh, a big percentage of the viewers are going to use the product on mobile. So even though it's like a product that has usage, a big part of the usage is mobile. Like you have a two-sided marketplace there, whereas
Mm.
viewers and creators, and both are really important. I think creators are like the essence, because if you don't have supply of great content, you don't have like the demand there. So like focusing on a great quality on desktop was really, really important, but it's not very obvious, right? Because if you think about consumer apps, people are like, oh, it's mobile, mobile. I agree, like
Mhm.
90% of the usage is mobile, but the supply comes from desktop, right? The
Ah,
supply
yeah.
side. So it's like DoorDash, right? Like you need to care about, DoorDash is a three-sided marketplace, but you need to care about the drivers and the people receiving the packages, receiving the meals.
Yeah.
In the same vein, like video creation for long form video, you need to care about the uploading process and things like that for long form video, and that means making the process, the app, work great for creators on web, and make sure that viewers really have a great experience on mobile. And also that's one thing that Farcaster does it well, because you don't necessarily need to create a new iOS app or an
Mhm.
Android app. You just create a mini app and that's distributed through Farcaster, right?
Good point.
um, but yeah, like a lot of the viewers might watch the videos on mobile, because usage of apps like 90% mobile versus desktop, but you need to worry about the two things. So that's like little things that really make a difference. But yeah, um, as you can see, I mean, it's right now it's a simple app, but like we built the base of the building, we built the
Mhm.
whole experience, and now stacking up the layers, that's where it's going to get really interesting. And that's
Mhm.
where I think we, like, even though we spent like a few months, it's September, we're going to launch another big feature. We spent like a big chunk of our time building this initial uh, base of the product. A lot of it is going to be used, and like if people cared, um, like if we didn't have this base of the building, it's really hard to build the rest, right? Like you can't really build a, an on-chain product or a crypto product on top of the building if there's no building on it. So I think we have some advantages in the market. Like if someone wants to copy, like building a really great product from the base, it's going to take a long time because, like as I mentioned, like all these things that we came across from like video types processing, from like this differentiation of the market, um, it takes time to learn, and I think to the credit of Farcaster, you guys also ran into a lot of things and like learn a lot along the way. So one example is for example, like threads. Like I've used another app that has Farcaster signing that has kind of a similar experience as the Farcaster main app, but threads is like it's really not the same. Like you guys took care of threading, right? Like reading threads really well.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing, like that kind of advantage compounds over time.
Yeah,
Makes
it sounds, your experience sounds really similar in this. Like certainly you built the foundation, but actually I think there are a lot of details in here that are great too. Like it feels very feature complete, right? Like if I compare it with YouTube or something, and those details really matter. Like we've lived that experience a few times in building Farcaster, right? Building DMs and suddenly getting into that project and realizing like, wow, a feature complete DM product has a lot of little details that are critically important, right? And same with when we did Wallet. Like sometimes it's not until you get deep into building some of those features that you realize how why certain details in those products like matter as much as they do, and why they exist, and kind of realize that you're in deep, and the only way the only way to get out is to keep building that foundation and continue building that
Yeah.
product. But yeah, I think congrats to you because it feels really feature complete.
Thank you.
One thing you brought up there is like the desktop side, right? And like I think this was one of the first really good examples, as I recall, of a mini app that existed inside Farcaster as a Farcaster mini app. You had that kind of mobile mini app view integrated really nicely with Farcaster, but also was like entirely usable, designed to be workable as a standalone app outside of Farcaster. I'm curious about that experience, and like if you have advice to other mini app devs who are designing for that use case, right? We have lots of people who build like, okay, it's just a mini app that exists purely inside the Farcaster context, but actually, I think sometimes the most interesting ones are those that like cross outside, and they also exist as a standalone application that works entirely outside the ecosystem. So, how was that for you? And like, what advice do you have for other devs?
Yeah, I think the SDK that like the mini apps SDK got, it evolved a lot, and I think if you're building a mini app, I would rely a lot on the SDK because the SDK is now like it improved a lot and it evolved a lot, and right now we use a lot of the SDK. So like anyone that's building a mini app, I would recommend taking a look at the SDK. There are obviously tools out there, and like embedded wallets like Privy and Dynamic uh, that help you out. And I think Privy is a little bit more attached to Farcaster, so it has like a little bit more integrations there. But in the matters of like building the mini app first, just I would recommend using the SDK because it has all the built-in features. The other thing that I would um, mention is that we we would get signer
Mm.
UUIDs, like basically get the um, ask for permission to sign, and that evolved over time as well. The SDK, evolved as well, but if you're building a mini app, I would think a lot about asking for signing access versus just signing in. Um, and there are like several reasons. One is because consumers, they're gonna be like they're obviously um, gonna think twice before granting access. And I think obviously, I think in the future Farcaster is going to evolve into like giving more control to customers, to users, into like what kind of access to give, like basically making it very easy for users to revoke access, basically how Facebook evolved in that like manner. If you look at Facebook, they also had you know, different kind of access. But this is more complicated because, you know, it's all permissionless. So
Mhm.
it's like
Yeah.
it's a lot
Yeah.
more work. But I think the SDK is great, and I would recommend taking a look at it. And it definitely evolved, I think, given feedback from a lot of developers, right?
Awesome. So yeah, anything exciting next you can give us a clue on for Pinetree or
We have announcement pretty
all right?
not today, but this is announcement about an announcement that
I
we'll
love it.
have
Yeah.
pretty
Nice.
soon. It's gonna be pretty great. I think you're all gonna love it. Like we're just finishing it, like the final touches of this product. It's been like a lot of work, um, but I mean, if you think about a year down the road, we're gonna add a lot of these crypto elements, and I think that's where, you know, Farcaster has a leg up again with like the wallet. As you mentioned, I was thinking about it, I think last week. It's kind of amazing that there wasn't a wallet, I think, a year ago. In it looks like the wallet on Farcaster, it's like it's been there forever, but
Mhm.
it's not. And to me, it's such a like an important part now of the product that just feels weird that it didn't exist, you know. And that's just how things evolve, you know. Like as you were mentioning, like the product has gotten, you know, evolved a lot over time. And for example, swapping tokens is like much faster,
Mhm.
for example, right now. And you can see, you know, it's improved over time a lot. I think at the beginning they have Solana, and then that's like another other chains and things like that, and it's just evolving so fast, and it's kind of interesting to watch. But if you think, you know, a year from now, um I just can't think, you know, how much is gonna evolve. But it's really awesome to see. And it's kind of interesting because, yeah, a lot of these interactions with money and tokens is gonna become more and more important.
Definitely.
100%. It's so exciting to me to look back on that progress sometimes, but also so humbling to look back at like, oh, we thought that was like the greatest UI, the greatest experience, right? You look back at the video you recorded 6 months ago, and you're hopping between apps and wallets. It's like, man, it's awesome that I look back and realize like, yes, we're making progress.
And
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's amazing. And like the thing that I also learned, and I mean, I kind of had that internalized, but like building a product like that, you can really internalize it. And I think you guys also internalize that, is that you launch to the market, and only through, you know, launching to the market and getting that feedback, you learn. Like there are a lot of things that, as you mentioned, like you look back, you're like, what? How did, like, why did we decide to do this instead of that? And then you get feedback from customers like, oh shit, like I need to improve. And then looking back, you're like, oh, I made all these quote unquote mistakes, but they're not mistakes, right? Like it's just learning through actually getting feedback from customers. But the last thing that I will say is that they're like great creators there on Pinetree. So Serious Gourmet Shit has like really great DJ sets. Moon Papi also has some nice. It's M00. Uh, yeah. And the other one um, that Linda has like some great videos as well about the mini app. So if anyone is interested in watching, I always watch to hear what people were saying about their apps, and, you know, what people are building. The Lisa OS interview was super interesting. So
Cool. Yeah, thanks for
awesome.
showing us. And people should definitely check out Pinetree and upload some videos and yeah, explore different content.
thank you so much. Hope you all enjoy the fall and drink some pumpkin spice latte.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sounds good. And then Horsefax, I think you had a few like mini apps we could share
Yeah,
on.
we had a couple more. Let's see, we're gonna do GIF. I think you had DCA, and we had Trifle's new apps. Let's take a look.
Yeah, and then you had GM game.
GM game, yeah, yeah. So yeah, let's start with GM game.
Okay.
So we looked at Anybody Problem before, I think, on the stream. This is another one from the same developer, Trifle, who's made a number of cool, interesting, interconnected small apps like this. Super fun little games, idiosyncratic, really cool design, always fun to play. So in this one, you're just generating unique phrases that start with GM. The goal here is like come up with one that nobody has done before, and then you can win mysterious token here, pachinko balls, which I think will have some sort of future use within the Trifle ecosystem. But yeah, this is super fun. I think it's been around for a while. I've seen it on the timeline, seen people playing it. But yeah, this one is pretty fun. I don't know if anyone has a GM. Gosh, I'm always really careful about like trying to match it to the right number of letters. You don't need to do that though. It can be anything.
Yeah.
Let's see here, like grumpy messages. Try that.
Nice.
There we go. Look at that. So we get sound, shakes around. Really, really great example of design here.
Yeah, I love the aesthetic. It's very unique.
Yeah. And the second one, there was a new one. I sort of got back to this because they launched another one this week. Let's see if I can find it. I think it's on the trending board right now. Oh, yeah, here it is, the Like Lottery. So another game in the Trifle ecosystem here. I just like pressing this button that says crank. Here we go. Oh gosh. There we go.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Trigger warning on this. Anyways, here we go. Pretty exciting
so
app here. There's a lot going on, yeah, but sort of all ties back into the same ecosystem, right? With Anybody Problem, with GM app, with this new one as well, which I think it's a Like Lottery. There's kind of a giveaway every day. You can earn tickets to this. I'm sure it will all tie back together into a larger set of things that all kind of work together. And actually, that's something to call out here. Like one thing I really like about these apps is that they're tied into each other, right? Let's see where one is. So there's some, you can earn tickets and stuff in here for following, but I think it's integrated in some places here with the other games and the other components. Wow. So in the balls game, you can see your scores from Anybody Problem. In the lottery game, you can see your scores from the balls game. And so it's all kind of tied into this distributed but coordinated little ecosystem of games, which is fun. So anyways, I've just been enjoying clicking this a few times a day and watching the wheel spin and get a mysterious ticket that might do something at some point. Anyways, that's my pick for the week. Check these out. They're gorgeous. They're fun to play, and they're all really interesting and integrated in this fun way. That's cool. My pick.
Nice. Mine is so GIF. I think this is a really great mini app for interacting with different people that you're seeing post content. So you can just like go through this mini app and like search for GIFs and like just reply to different people with a fun one. So I really like how this mini app was done, and it just makes it really easy to reply with a GIF. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, shout out to this one, which started as one of the earliest mini apps, or even proto mini apps, right? Like this started as a composer action, which is kind of our like old 2 or 3 versions ago, our first stab at like, hey, maybe we could build something that's kind of a richer interface and more interactive thing. And this was one of the first, and I think consistently the most popular composer action, and now is built as a mini app.
Yeah.
This also has a share extension, right? So we can like,
it is, yes.
This is cool. You can pop it up here in the share sheet if you're interacting with a cast. And this will show all the mini apps that you've added to your Farcaster app that have share extensions, and so you can reply right here. It'll open the app and let you reply to a cast with a GIF, which is really nice use case here.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right, that's GIF.
Cool.
And then
DCA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, DCA is a newer one that I just tested out and thought it was really neat. The idea is basically if you want to build up a position in different cryptocurrencies, you can choose an amount that you're going to just buy every single day for a set period of time. So for example, if you want to build a Ethereum position, you can say the amount that you want to purchase. So I can say like invest in ETH, and then that is going to just be like some frequency that you can set, and then you can change how often you want to do it, daily, or you can even do like monthly or weekly or something like that. And then that'll just request and approve on your wallet, and then you can set the like total amount that you're willing to approve for, and set it and forget it, and just build your position into different crypto. So I like that this was built in a mini app form, and people are now able to just do that within their feed.
Yeah, it's really cool. Let me try one more time. Really cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check this out.
Cool. I think those were it from my side.
Cool. So Juliana, anything else you want to share, or where can we find you if we want to check out Pinetree? Where should we go?
Yeah, I mean, you can either search for the mini app on Farcaster, Pinetree, or just go to pinetree.so. Just a little nugget: Pinetree, the name is because that's an evergreen tree. And long form video, the idea is like it's evergreen. If you watch a great interview, it's still gonna be really interesting, like for a long time. It's gonna be evergreen, and it's evergreen content, but also it has some kind of how do I say, rebellious idea behind it. Like the Northeast, there was the Pinetree flag. I don't know if you've all seen it. It's liberty or death. It's the same person that created the snake. Don't tread on me flag. But it's we're basically bringing freedom to creators the same way. If you think about the US, the idea behind this freedom of speech. I think like the big idea, crypto and Bitcoin more specifically, is freedom to transact, and we're given freedom to do your own business as a creator, because you're usually tied to a big corporation that controls you, and the idea here is to give a lot of that ownership back. So that's a little bit more about the background of the name Pinetree, pinetree.so. You can also find me on Farcaster, GIU, on Twitter, Giacalia. That's my last name. That's a little bit harder to pronounce, but you can just search for Giuliano on GIU, on Farcaster. I have a little chain runner. I don't know if you all know about chain runners.
Oh
They're
yeah,
like,
I learned from Dylan.
yeah. I actually learned about chain runners on Farcaster. Like it was when it launched and became a really big thing in Farcaster back then. And I bought a bunch. One of them that was like the best, I think, looking between them. And that's like the idea is that all the information is contained in the chain in Ethereum. So you don't need to point, to Amazon or whatever, to Amazon S3 for rendering the image. So I think it's like really, really interesting, the chain runners, and that's that chain runner. So that's one of them, and that's where you can find me there.
Cool.
Cool. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
All right.